The Ghost Cats of Willow Hollow, a perfectly ridiculous tale. In Willow Hollow, where the oaks gossiped louder than nosy neighbours and moonlight made everything look like a B-movie set, kids had the weirdest bodyguards, ghost cats. These glowing fur balls weren't just knocking over spectral vases, they were bound by a catnip-sworn pact to protect the town's children from things that go bump. Locals whispered about them over diner coffee, but it wasn't until 10-year-old Lila Grayson moved in that things got hysterically wild. Lila, a bookworm who doodled cats and muttered to herself, was the new kid in a creaky Maple Street house that screamed haunted Airbnb. The other kids thought she was odder than a dog in tap shoes, but Lila could see ghost cats. First was Ember, a tabby who parked her glowing butt on Lila's windowsill, staring like she owed her kibble. "Stop creeping," Lila grumbled, but Ember's kazoo-like purr said, "Deal with it." Soon Shadow, a clumsy black cat, and Mist, a fluffy white puffball who kept getting stuck in walls despite being a ghost, joined the party. Willow Hollow was getting weirder than a $3 bill. Kids woke screaming about shadowy nightmares stealing their toys and whispering, "Gimme your snacks." Parents blamed too many video games, but Lila saw the fear in her classmates' eyes and the ghost cat's sudden clinginess. Ember started leaving spectral hairballs on her math homework, like, "Kid, we got a situation." One night, Ember led Lila into the woods, where twigs poked her and the air smelled like burnt toast. In a clearing, a dozen ghost cats lounged like they were at a furry convention. General, a beefy silver tomcat who looked like he'd fought a lawnmower and won, boomed in her head, "You see us. You're in the pact now." "Pact? Is this a cat cult?" Lila sassed. "To save the kids," General snapped. "A darkness is scaring them silly. Find it." Lila wasn't a superhero, but she hated seeing her classmates freaked out. She snooped at school, learning kids like Tommy, Sarah, and Jamal, haunted by shadows, lived near the old mill, a creepy wreck that smelled like bad decisions. With Ember leading and Shadow tripping over air, Lila snuck there one night, flashlight in hand. The mill was a cobwebby nightmare, but the cat's glow lit it up like a disco. Lila found a trapdoor with toddler scribble symbols, pried it open and muttered, "If I die, I'm haunting you." Down the spooky stairs the air froze and Mist got stuck in a wall again. In a pulsing, black-lit chamber, a shadowy blob sat, looking like a discount Halloween prop. "You're not invited," it hissed, all cranky. The cats went nuts. Ember yeeted herself like a glowing ninja, Shadow tripped and face-planted, and Mist fluffed up like a possessed cotton ball. Lila remembered the blob fed on fear. She waved her sketchbook, packed with epic cat doodles. "I'm not scared, you budget villain," she yelled, holding up Ember mid-ninja kick. The blob flinched. Lila kept going. "Tommy's got game! Sarah's art slaps! Jamal's smarter than you!" The cat's glow blasted the blob, which shrieked and popped like a sad balloon. The mill shook, and Lila bolted as it half collapsed, probably because Shadow tripped again. By morning, Willow Hollow was chill. Kids laughed, nightmares gone. Lila's classmates high-fived her, clueless but vibing. The ghost cat stayed, Mist still stuck in fences, Ember leaving hairballs. Lila kept doodling her goofy guardians, and at night, glowing eyes watched over the kids, ready to trip over their paws to keep the darkness away. The great ghost, pet rumble, of Starling City. Starling City was a neon jungle, where skyscrapers gossiped louder than taxi horns, and streetlights flickered like they were auditioning for a noir flick. The real drama, though, was the ghost pets. Ghost cats, all smug and glowing, had been the city's kid protectors forever, sworn by some ancient tuna-fueled pact. Then ghost dogs, slobbery, hyperspectral mutts, rolled in one summer, barking they were better guardians. The result? A supernatural street fight that was less Ghostbusters and more Tom and Jerry on a sugar high. Lila Grayson, a 10-year-old bookworm who'd rather doodle than dodge skateboarders, was the only kid who could see these glowing knuckleheads. She'd just moved into a drafty loft on 7th Avenue that screamed hipster ghost vibe. One night, she caught Ember, a tabby ghost cat with a purr like a busted vape, hissing at Boomer, a ghost bulldog, drooling ectoplasm on her fire escape. "You'll need to relax," Lila groaned. But Ember flicked her tail, and Boomer yapped like he'd spotted a phantom food truck. The turf war was on. The ghost cats, Ember Shadow, who tripped over his own swagger, and Mist, a fluffy clut stuck in billboards, prowled Starling's alleys, glowing like furry LEDs. The ghost dogs, Boomer, a yappy terrier named Sparky, and Duchess, a poodle rocking an afterlife perm, bounced through stoops, leaving spectral chew marks on hydrants. Kids were waking up spooked, not from boogeymen, but from the chaos. Cats yowling like off-key buskers, dogs howling like they'd lost their karaoke mic, and toys trashed like they'd been through a pet riot. Lila, sick of hairballs and slobber on her manga, tailed Ember to a graffiti-splashed lot under the elevated train. General, a scarred cat, who looked like he'd scrapped with a subway rat and won, faced off against Chief, a ghost Great Dane who kept bumping into dumpsters. "This city's ours," General snarled in Lila's head. Chief woofed, "Cats? Pfft, we're kids' best pal." Lila rolled her eyes. "You're both dead. Split the job." No dice. The cats pounced, claws flashing like tiny disco balls. The dogs charged, tails spinning like rogue drones. Ember yeeted herself at Boomer, who dodged and crashed into Mist, who was, stuck in a neon sign. Shadow tripped, accidentally smacking Sparky, who yipped and ran laps around a lamppost. Duchess pranced, dodging the mess, until Chief barreled through, toppling a stack of crates. Lila, ducking a flying, spectral tennis ball, yelled, "You're freaking out the kids more than any creep." That hit home. The pets froze, realizing the kids' nightmares were their fault. Cats pointing paws, dogs pointing snouts. Lila whipped out her sketchbook, crammed with doodles of the pets looking way tougher than they were. "Check it," she said, flashing Ember mid-ninja flip and Boomer mid-drool. "You're all dope. Team up." The pets blinked, then sulked. "Busted," General muttered. "Fine. Truce." Chief wagged his tail, knocking Sparky into a trash can. The ghost pets split the city, cats on rooftops, dogs on sidewalks, both guarding kids. By dawn, Starling City chilled out. Kids slept, toys intact. Lila's classmates, oblivious, started fist-bumping her. The cats still left hairballs, the dogs paw prints, but they synced up mostly. Ember and Boomer shared Lila's fire escape, though Boomer's snoring made Ember hiss. Lila kept sketching her chaotic crew, her sketchbook a shout-out to the goofiest guardians ever. At night, glowing eyes and wagging tails patrolled Starling City, ready to bumble through any threat, proving cats and dogs could share, if only to dodge Lila's shade. The zombie cat prankpocalypse of Starling City. Starling City's edge was all glitz and concrete, but just beyond the last bodega stretched the Mirkwood Forest, a tangle of pines and shadows where raccoons gossiped and owls judged everyone. By day it was chill, by night pure chaos thanks to the zombie cats. These weren't your average undead furballs, all groans and gross bits. No, these were cackling, glow-eyed feline ghouls rising from an old pet cemetery, hell-bent on pranking every critter in the forest. It started when a lightning bolt, probably showing off, zapped the Starling pet graveyard, a mossy plot where Fluffykins and Whiskers are ripped. The ground shook, and up popped the zombie cats. Patches, a tabby with one ear and a smirk, Claudia, a Siamese with a laugh like a creaky door, and Muffin, a chubby calico who kept losing her tail, literally. Their eyes glowed green, their fur was patchy, but their prank game, positively diabolical. 10-year-old Lila Grayson, a doodle-obsessed kid who'd snuck into Mirkwood to sketch owls, was the only human to spot them. She'd camped out near the cemetery, her flashlight catching Patches mid-rise, shaking off dirt like it was bad vibes. You good," Lila whispered. Patches winked, hissed, "Prank time," and bolted into the woods, with Claudia and Muffin cackling behind. The forest animals didn't know what hit 'em. First, the raccoons, led by Ricky, a trash panda with a superiority complex, got punked. The zombie cats rigged a pile of shiny bottle caps to fall from a tree, dousing Ricky's gang in sticky soda syrup. "My fur!" Ricky wailed, slipping into a puddle while Patches yowled like he'd won the lottery. Lila, hiding behind a stump, stifled a laugh, sketching the chaos. Next, the squirrels, Hypernuts led by Twitchy, got it. Claudia, stealthy despite her limping gait, swapped their acorn stash for pine cones painted to look like acorns. When Twitchy bit one and chipped a tooth, he chattered curses as Claudia's creepy giggle echoed. Muffin, meanwhile, kept dropping her tail in bushes for deer to trip over, sending Bambi wannabes sprinting. "This is better than catnip," Muffin wheezed, reattaching her tail upside down. The owls, smug atop their branches, thought they were safe. Big mistake. Patches led a midnight raid, dangling spectral yarn balls, glowing with graveyard mojo, in front of Hootie, the head owl. Hootie swiped, got tangled, and flopped into a briar patch, hooting indignantly as the zombie cats high-fived with their bony paws. Lila's sketchbook filled up fast. Patches' mid-yarn toss, Claudia's evil grin, Muffin's tail flopping like a bad prop. But the forest fought back. Ricky rallied the raccoons to chuck rotten apples, one smacking Muffin's head clean off. She popped it back on, unbothered. Twitchy's squirrels dropped acorns like tiny bombs, nailing Claudia's ear. Hootie's owls dive-bombed, talons out, forcing Patches to dodge like a drunk ninja. Lila, now rooting for the zombie cats, yelled, "You got this!" Patches shot her a look. "Kid, draw faster!" By dawn, the forest was a mess, syrup everywhere, pine cones scattered, yarn in the trees. The animals, exhausted, called a truce. "Y'all are nuts," Ricky snapped. Patches, picking dirt from his teeth, purred, "Just keeping you sharp." The zombie cats shambled back to their graves, promising to return. Lila, sketching their retreat, grinned. Her sketchbook, now a prankster's Bible, stayed secret. At night, Mirkwood's critters slept with one eye open, knowing the zombie cats were just a lightning strike away from the next prank-pocalypse.